Well, we're coming up now at 48 kilos, the lowest of the 10 weight classes in international wrestling. From the Twist and Shout Wrestling Club, wrestling in the blue uniform will be Richie Hart, who's planning on going on into medicine. And from Hannam University in Korea, we'll have Yon Chang, and he's wrestling in the red uniform. Both of these boys have extensive experience.
Well, Richie we know well, of course. He came through the system here. He was coached by our friend up there in the stands, Ron Wilson, at Newtonburg High School. And Ron runs one of the finest, if not the finest, high school wrestling programs. No disservice to yourself, of course, but one of the finest wrestling programs in the country. And he's had a number of his athletes go on to wrestle at university and on the national team.
No argument from me on that score.
The score is still 0-0. Both wrestlers, lightweights, very, very quick. Look for a lot of movement here. And Frank, I think I'd be safe in saying in the lighter weight classes, look for more points to be scored in some of the heavy. Now, good counter by Richie. Most wrestlers would have been on their back because that's a good, hard head and arm by the Korean wrestler Chang. Good counter by Richie. There's that speed again that you see in the lightweights.
Richie's wrestling a lot tougher than I've seen him wrestle in the past.
Did you see the last match he wrestled just before this one to get into the bronze medal match?
Well, yeah, he pulled that out just with a few seconds to go, didn't he?
He sure did. He was wrestling the wrestler from London, Ontario again.
Russ Howe.
That's right. He was wrestling Russ, and he was down, I believe he was down 1 point with 4 or 5 seconds left, and he toughed it out and scored a couple of points and won the match.
And Howe, of course, was on our Pan American team in Indianapolis last year, so he was a seasoned wrestler.
Absolutely. Russ is an outstanding wrestler. Good penetration by Richie here, but let his one arm drag a little bit, switched off.
Nice work.
Excellent work. Tenacious. If that had occurred a little closer to the middle, and they're going to give him the point.
Well, I think, well, they should.
He earned it.
The attack was from inside, and it carried to the out of bounds, but...
He earned it. I thought maybe they may not have given it because the board was there and the Korean wrestler hit it, but right, deservedly so. Richie actually, he did everything necessary to earn that point.
Do you think that Richie Hart's dramatic improvement and strength here could it be at all attributable to John Park, the coach at the Twist and Shout Wrestling Club?
Oh, absolutely. Give credit where credit is due. I mean, John had some excellent material to begin with because, you know, as we mentioned earlier, anybody that comes out of Ron's program certainly is well skilled in the fundamentals of wrestling, and they always have a great attitude. And John Park runs an excellent program there at the Twist and Shout Club in University of York University here in Toronto. And he's got a number of lightweights for Richie to work out with. Okay, a pause in the action here. The score is now 1-1. The Korean wrestler has just scored. And we're seeing a lot of good action here at the 48-kilogram weight class for the bronze medal. Both wrestlers circling each other now, working on the head, trying to pop that head down. Pop the head down, you get a reaction. As the head comes up, that's the time to penetrate on the legs. Cautioning blue for some inactivity here, and Chang of South Korea is electing to put Richie down on the mat. Now let's see how tough he is on top and how good Richard can defend this. Probably an attempt at a gut wrench, yes? And he's got it very high, up around the shoulders, and a good turn by the Korean wrestler for 2 points. Caught Richie napping a little bit on that one, Frank.
Yeah, just a break in his concentration.
Well, see again, he hit it as soon as the whistle went. Okay, now Chang is trying for an Olympic crotch thrown. He's got it very, very tight, a lot of pressure on the back and in the hip. Richie's coming up to counter that double ankle tilt. When you're on the bottom here, you've got to concentrate. You can't take your mind off what you're doing for a second, or you'll get turned for 2 points. Richie does a good job of countering. Now he's got to get his head back into the match. He's only down by 2 points. There's lots of time left. He's got to start penetrating it on the legs again.
There you go.
Okay. That was a decent penetration, but it wasn't really well set up. Now the Korean wrestler's just hanging on, Frank. You can see he's just taking that lock around the arm and the head. He's not really attempting to go behind.
He kept Richie extended on that shot, didn't he?
He certainly did. Got his hips back, and well, there's enthusiasm from that young Korean wrestler, just running over to the chair. Take a gulp of water.
And that's all they're allowed to have between rounds, Louis, the water.
That's it. You can't have anything else in there. Even though it's in a Gatorade bottle, you're allowed to have water only, and every once in a while at the international matches, they check the contents of those bottles. And you cannot have any substances such as liniment on your body because, of course, you start to perspire. Not only is it slippery, but you start to perspire, and some of that liniment can get in your opponent's eyes, and that can cause problems.
In fact, Lou, I've been to a couple of matches, international matches, where some athletes have been accused of putting liniments on their body, and often it's might involve. In fact, to be honest, the last time I saw it was between North Korea and South Korea, and I think it was more political than it was a reality of any liniment. It was just an attempt to try and win favor with the fans, political protest.
Well, that happens sometimes. I mean, we all like to think that politics doesn't enter into it, but occasionally it does. But, you know, for the most part, it's just two wrestlers out here from two different countries in the world just giving it their best shot. And now Rich is down 3-1 to Chang of Korea, who's a long, lean, and very, very quick, and I might add, very intense. You can tell by the way he's circling here. Doesn't want to go to the edge of the mat. Let's stay in the middle. Now both wrestlers are again feeling each other out a little bit here. Richie's got to turn it on now, Frank, and get some offense going here, and start to penetrate in on those legs, and a point here and a point there. He's not setting it up very well.
No, and you know, he's shooting to that left side there, and the Korean has his hand inside blocking him, so he can't get in very deep. So I think he needs to set it up better on the left side.
That's right. He's got to get in underneath a little more. It's tough to penetrate on a long, lean wrestler. Nice, Richie, that was a nice setup. If he'd snapped that arm a little harder, he might have had that. Now he's got to face him and come up. He doesn't want to give up a point here. Doesn't want to give up a point. The Korean wrestler is in a very good position to score. If he gets his arm free, he got his arm free and scooped the leg, and he got a goal behind. He is now ahead 4-1. Now, very often in this position, a bottom wrestler who has just been scored on will lose concentration, worry about the point he just lost, and lose two more. So you can't afford to take your mind off what you're doing. Inactivity, we'll stand them up, and we'll start again in the middle. I think Richie's got to come out with both guns blazing here, Frank.
Well, he's got to open it up at this stage. I mean,
yeah, he sure has.
Started out well, 4-1 now, and
yeah, he was controlling the match at the beginning. He's got to move those arms out of the way and get in under. At least if he doesn't score, get a caution on Chang of South Korea and get him down on the mat and try for two.
Well, I think the Korean could easily be cautioned here. I mean,
well, he's hanging on, isn't he?
Yeah.
Just because you're ahead 4-1 doesn't mean you can stop wrestling and just protect the lead. All he's doing is hanging on to the head.
There's a good example of it right there.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. Come on.
Finish it, Richie. Finish it. Almost.
A little exciting there.
Well, we saw Richie, you know, he brought the crowd to their feet in that last match near the end.
So here's the caution that we were talking about earlier.
There's the caution for inactivity. Chang of Korea is awfully low in that stance, and you notice now what happens on the whistle. Most wrestlers go right to their stomach. They're trying to prevent the top wrestler from locking arms around the body and getting that gut wrench. It's famous, the evolution of the gut wrench, Frank. It was fairly popular a number of years ago, then it virtually disappeared, didn't it?
That's right.
And now it's come back with such intensity that I think you're only allowed, 2 points?
That's all you can score from.
You can't do 4 or 5 gut wrenches in a row.
The Korean coach is pretty upset. They're forgetting to start the clock, so Richie's getting some extra time here.
I don't think a few seconds will make a lot of difference here, but he has a right to complain. I mean, that's a coach's job. You've got a lot of things on your mind in the corner, and you have to worry about your wrestler, worry about the other wrestler, worry about the time. Now we've got a pause here. I think they'll probably make an adjustment on the clock. The score is still 4-1 for Chang of South Korea over Richie Hart of the York University Twist and Shout Wrestling Club. Now Johnny Park's having something to say. I don't blame you, John. You should have your say too. and just make sure that the thing is done properly.
Boy, that Korean wrestler is really lean. He looks like he's cut some weight to get down to that 48-kilo class.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like it's hurt him. I mean, he doesn't look like he's suffering from a loss of weight. He's showing a lot of activities. He's controlling Richie's head now. And if you can control your opponent's head, in most cases, you'll win the match. Richie's trying that same duck under. Okay, he got out of the head control, but he didn't get behind. Nice try. Okay, a missed throw. That was a good time to hit that head and arm. So they'll stand them up. That was a legitimate attempt that was missed. Again, the wrestler in red didn't do anything to earn that point, so they start again. Now Richie's starting to turn it on a little bit, but he's got to be careful. Now
the Korean's just falling down.
Now the Korean's being very cagey here. He knows there's only a few seconds, about 7 seconds left in the match, so he doesn't mind giving up a second caution at this point. Now they'll stand them both up. Richie, to win it, has got to throw him, and he got a little bit sloppy. And boy, it looks like anybody's points there, but actually no points were scored. Good match by Chang of South Korea. Again, an example of a young wrestler showing good match savvy. He knew just when to hold on and for how long, and he knew how to use the clock and control his opponent.
Lou, I'm impressed with Richie Hart's performance in this tournament so far. I mean, even though fourth place finish here is nothing to scoff at.
No, it's not.
And I thought in the last minute